Hello, today is Friday, August 26th, and this is Friday 5 at 5 with the Denver Public Library. My name is Erin. I'm a librarian at DPL's Central Library, and in 15 minutes or less, we'll have you up to speed on 5 new titles out this month that we can't wait for you to read or listen to. September is National Sewing Month. Join us in one of our idea labs to use a sewing machine. Available at the Hadley, Hamden, Montbello, Gonzales, and Sam Gary branches. Idea Labs are maker spaces, free community spaces to make things with 3D printers, laser cutters, various types of sewing machines, and more. Looking for a more guided sewing experience? Join us at the Montbello Idea Lab on September 3rd at 2 p.m. for a workshop to help you mend clothes, bags, and other fabric items. Or attend a sewing basics class at the Sam Gary Idea Lab on September 17th at 10 a.m. or at the Hamden Idea Lab on September 22nd at 1 p.m. Ready to take your sewing to the next level at home? Get on the holds list to check out a sewing machine from the Gonzales branch. Links below. And now on to this month's book suggestions. Kosher Soul, The Faith and Food Journey of an African American Jew, is a deep dive into the foods and traditions of the African, Atlantic, and the global Jewish diaspora. The author of the James Beard Award-winning The Cooking Gene, Michael Twitty takes readers on a cultural, geographical, and culinary journey full of history, anecdotes, and finally, recipes. Twitty points out the Yiddish word he coined, Fressfumkeit, which means being a Jew through your stomach, and makes this part of the entire story he tells. How he incorporates collard greens into kreplach and turns a Cape Verde stew called cachopa into a suitable meal for Shabbat, or replacement for cholent, is magical, a true blending of the cuisines. Twitty even discusses if food can be queer. His friend TJ tells him, practices around food can be queer. You know, black food is consistently queered. It's the backward, the nothing, the gross, the disgusting. Twitty points out that you don't have to be black or Jewish to love Kosher Soul, and offers over 50 recipes, suggestions for Jewish holidays, as well as menus, an author's note, and a Yiddish glossary. While the topic may seem academic, the writing is warm and familiar as yam biscuits slathered in butter. From publisher Amistad, and available at DPL in print, or as an ebook or e-audiobook on Overdrive. Round out your knowledge of soul food with The Pot Liquor Papers, A Food History of the Modern South by John T. Edge, and discover the beauty and variety of kosher cuisine in Kim Kushner's The Modern Table, Kosher Recipes for Everyday Gatherings. I'm Not Broken, a memoir by Jessie Leon, is an unflinching look at a traumatic childhood and upbringing in Southern California. Born to indigenous working-class Mexican immigrants in the 1970s, Leon, at age 11, has a violent sexual encounter which leads him to numb his pain in hyper-masculine culture, turning to alcohol, drugs, and prostitution. He tries to navigate treatment but falls through the cracks of the state-sanctioned institutions and systems intended to help victims of abuse. And eventually Leon spirals into a destructive cycles of suicide and substance abuse. This memoir is heartbreaking and at times disturbing, but it is also a remarkable and moving depiction of his long journey and personal transformation. Leon tells the story of how he attends Narcotics Anonymous meetings and is the only person of color there. He comes to terms with his own sexual identity. He begins to mentor incarcerated youth. And, against all odds, he finds the will to live with the help of the love and support of his friends and family. From publisher Vintage and available at DPL in print or as an ebook on Overdrive. Looking for more raw and heartbreaking memoirs that are ultimately uplifting tales of the human will to survive? Take a look at No Ashes in the Fire, Coming of Age, Black and Free in America by Darnell L. Moore. Or Read The Center Cannot Hold, My Journey Through Madness by Ellen R. Sachs. Our next book, The Book Eaters by SUNYI Dean, is a dark urban fantasy gothic drama perfect for anyone who has ever wanted to completely devour a book. Devon is not completely human. She's a book eater who comes from a family of book eaters who appeared on Earth generations ago and never left. She dines specifically on fairy tales, which greatly affects her worldview. Book eaters live within 6 families, but their numbers are quickly dwindling, so measures have been taken to preserve their kind with arranged marriages and forced pregnancies. The story is told from the perspective of Devon, a grown book eater who is trying to escape from her family with her 5-year-old son Kai, who was born a mind eater, a creature who eats minds instead of books. Devon's society believes Kai to be dangerous, but a mother's love keeps her running to keep him safe. The stunning prose and rich characterizations will keep readers entranced as this incredibly unique tale unfolds. A satisfying revolt against the patriarchy, The Book Eaters offers a fascinating premise with a plot that measures up. The twist on the vampire tradition, the poignant social criticism, and the beautiful concept of book eating are a wonderful combination of the familiar and the unknown that keeps readers guessing over and over again. Of note, author SUNYI Dean is an autistic science fiction and fantasy writer. From publisher Tor and available at DPL in print or as an ebook or e-audiobook on Overdrive. If The Book Eaters sounds interesting to you, consider checking out Louisa Morgan's The Witch's Kind, in which 2 women hiding a dangerous family secret find their circumstances upended by a long-lost husband and an abandoned baby with familiar powers. Or go to where it all began and pick up Grimm's fairy tales featuring Rapunzel, Rumpelstiltskin, Little Redcap, Snow White, and Rose Red, Hansel and Gretel, and many more. In our next book, Love in the Time of Serial Killers by ALICIA Thompson, PhD candidate Phoebe Walsh goes to Florida for the summer to clean out her childhood home. She is merely hoping to find time to write her dissertation on the true crime genre, something she has always been obsessed with, while dealing with her obnoxious but good-natured brother and mourning her father, someone she didn't have a relationship with in the years prior to his death. However, she is distracted from her thesis by her new neighbor, Sam Dennings, and becomes convinced that he is a serial killer. Why does he come and go at odd hours? Why does he have so much plastic sheeting? Phoebe keeps putting herself in Sam's way, trying to investigate if he is committing murders. But soon she starts to wonder something else. Is Sam a good guy and is Phoebe falling in love with him? Will she risk her suspicions to see if they can make it work? A fun romance, especially for true crime aficionados, this book is full of pop culture references and strong female characters. And it goes deeper than expected as it deals with grief, childhood trauma, and the complicated relationships we have with family and friends. From Berkeley Publishing Group and available at DPL in print or as an ebook or e-audiobook on Overdrive. For more genre-bending romances that you won't be able to put down, try What If You and Me by Ronnie Lauren, or read A Spy in the Struggle by Aya de Leon. Published for the first time in Japan in 2003, Dead End Memories by Banana Yoshimoto is published for the first time this month in the United States, translated by Asa Yonida. The book is a collection of stories surrounding 5 women, all of whom have experienced sudden and painful events and are working their way towards recovery. We find a woman who has been betrayed by her fiancé, but finds a place to hide away in the room above her uncle's bar. A woman who encounters the kind ghosts of an elderly couple who have not realized yet that they died years ago. An office worker and a victim of sexual assault finds hope in a new romance. Yoshimoto writes in a beautiful prose that Yonida has effortlessly translated to English. These are stories that remind us of the small joys of life and that happiness can be found within, given a little reflection. From publisher Counterpoint and available at DPL in print or as an ebook on Overdrive. Find more unique short stories in The Complete Stories of Clarice Lispector, or fall into more fiction with The Goddess Chronicle by Natsuo Kirino, translated from the Japanese by Rebecca Copeland. And, in case you missed it, No Violet Bulawayo's second work of fiction, Glory, builds on African and worldwide folklore traditions to tell its story through an all-animal cast of characters. For many readers, this approach will likely evoke George Orwell's Animal Farm, which also relies on anthropomorphism. The comparison is especially apt since both books are about the betrayal of a revolution, with Orwell's book targeting Russia and Bulawayo's her native Zimbabwe. Sparked by the 2017 fall of Zimbabwe's longtime leader, Robert Mugabe, Glory depicts an African nation that wrested itself from colonial rule and struggles with ethnic strife, brutal repression, corruption, and Western exploitation. The story follows the last days of the old horse's rule and the rise of his vice president, Tuvi. Amid a resurgence of Christian extremism, an exile returns, a goat named Destiny, who reclaims the spirit of her people as they buckle under the weight of false prophets and a gospel of #free, fair, incredible elections. A ridiculous exercise. Bulawayo, who adopted her name in tribute to her hometown, is part of a group of Zimbabwean authors who are opening up new conversations. From publisher Viking and available at DPL in print or as an ebook or e-audiobook on Overdrive. For more books that use animals the way this one does, give Hollow Kingdom by Kira Jane Buxton a try. Or perhaps you'll enjoy A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. And that's it for this month. Thank you for tuning in to Denver Public Library's Friday 5 at 5, and we hope you enjoy these great reads and listens. Check out or place a hold on these titles and a whole lot more right now at denverlibrary.org, links below. Tune in next month for some new recommended reads. Bye!